Hello, OLL parishioners. As you can probably tell, I went to the Catholic school today and gave out ashes, and they also gave me some, got me pretty good there. But what I'd like to talk about today is just give you an introduction to basically what you saw on the flyer that was displayed before the video began here. And it's also published as a flyer in the bulletin this weekend, February 26th and 27th, I believe it is. So what is on that sheet is the answer to 4 clarity questions. It's part of having disciplines such that we can have a healthy organization or healthier organization. This is something that mostly businesses, secular businesses, work on to do in order to have a healthy organization. And I think it's important that parishes have it too, and schools like Our Lady of the Lake here. And so the first answer on that page is the answer to the question of why do we exist? What's our purpose here at Our Lady of the Lake Catholic Church and School? And before I explain that a little bit, and this will help explain it, is if we just look at the life of Jesus, why is it important to have this in mind? If we just look at the life of Jesus, and his purpose being to save humanity from sin and death and to rescue us from the clutches of the enemy. He was clear. He had a clear purpose, and we know that because when people or the devil himself tried to dissuade him from that purpose, he had his way of getting back and getting them back on track and backing them off in the case of the devil. And so it's important for us to have that and to be clear about that. And essentially our purpose, why we exist as a parish, is the same as Jesus's. And we're just saying it a little differently because Jesus handed that on to the church. And we're the church. He wants us to have that same purpose as an organization. And so the way that we being my pastoral leadership team, it's kind of my executive team made up of 3 people from the parish and from the staff. And what we decided, how we're going to say that, is to light God's fire one heart at a time. To light God's fire one heart at a time. So that's the first answer that you'll see on the flyer. You know that we're changing to the second question when the font is different and it's smaller. All the way down that page, and there's 4 different statements, and some of them are also kind of in the form of a question on that sheet. And so now, an individual member, this gets to the church, gets to the organizational purpose. It's an organizational purpose, and no individual member can fulfill that purpose. And we can fulfill it best when we're doing it together as a team, where we're working together as a team. Now, I know that's, for business people, they hear this all the time, but how are we going to work together as a team, as leadership, as people in the parish? What are our core values? And that's the answer to the next question on your flyer. Humble, we're going to be humble with each other, we're going to be hospitable to each other, and we're going to be on fire for the mission. Humble essentially means that we are willing to admit mistakes, and we are willing to ask, and we're going to ask for help. That if I don't really know how to do something and I don't know how to do it very well, I just got the Amber Alert here. Then I'm gonna humble myself and ask for someone else who I know knows how to do that better than I can and can help me with it. The second one is hospitable, and that just means being self-aware of my own weaknesses and strengths. It's kind of together with humility. But I'm also going to try to learn what other people do. What are they good at? What are their limitations? What are they not so? What are their strengths? And what are their limitations? And when do they need to be encouraged? When do they need to be held accountable in a kind way? So I'm going to be hospitable to people I'm working with in the parish. And even if people who are coming and I'm serving. And the third one is fire for the mission, and that's just simply working hard. Whatever we do in the parish for the parish, is we're going to work hard at it. And so what is it that we do? What is our business? What are we busy about? And that's the third answer on your flyer. We provide opportunities for people to encounter God's love through the sacraments, education, faith formation, and service. And that's not going to be a surprise to you. That's very common knowledge, if you will, already. But now, on to the fourth question, there's a little background for it, is that clarity is that we have to be more focused. That broad business definition, there's so much we can do. And everybody knows that if we try to do too much, then nothing that we do is going to be done well. We're going to get spread so thin, and we're not going to do anything really well. So we have to narrow that a little bit, and that's what the answers or questions that provoke answers to will what we're proposing to do or what we are already doing, will it A, create a sense of belonging? That's the third thing I think on your sheet. Create a sense of belonging. How will this encourage people to be seen and known? It's kind of like another way of referring to these three things is strategic anchors. Okay? How are they going to keep us focused on our strategy and what we want to accomplish? The second one is a strong Catholic formation, or how will what's being proposed or what we're doing, bring about deeper conversion to Jesus Christ? Thirdly, evangelize your neighbor. How will this encourage people to share the gospel boldly with others? That's a way of describing evangelization. And so an example of something that fulfills all three of these things is our praying during the homily time once a month since last October. Fulfills all of those strategic anchors in the affirmative, if you will. Now there are two more that are not printed here because those two are going to change every month. What's the most important right now? Not every month, but maybe every 3 to 6 months. So what's most important right now? It's not on your sheet. And the second one is who's going to do what? Those are going to be changing. The first 4 that are on your flyer are not going to be changing as much. Those will be more permanent and will keep in front of us over time. Now, the parish and the school staff, committees, event leaders, liturgical ministers will make some immediate changes that are easy to make based on these principles that you'll likely see soon, say beginning of September next fall. And but all these people and all of us will begin to live by these in our day-to-day work in the parish. And I firmly believe that if you were to go away from the parish for 2 years, which I don't want you to do, but let's just say, hypothetically, you were to do that, and you came back after 2 years, my hope and my strong belief is that your experience of the parish would be radically different, and radically different for the better. And I've begun to describe what better is, or more healthy is, just right in this video. God bless you. Have a great weekend.